The Flower Ornament Scripture, a translation of the Avatamsaka Sutra by Thomas Cleary. Homage to all past, future, and present Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pachika Buddhas, and Shravakas. Book 1. The Wonderful Adornments of the Leaders of the Worlds. At that time, the Buddha's lion seat, its round platform of exquisite flowers of many jewels, its base, steps, doors, and all its embellishments, each produced as many great enlightening beings as there are atoms in the Buddha land. Their names were Oceanic Wisdom, Sovereign King of Occult Powers, Thunder Shaking All, Top-knot of lights of many jewels, bold intelligence of the Sun of Knowledge, seal of knowledge made of jewels of inconceivable qualities, 100-eye lotus top-knot, light spheres of golden flames, universal sound of the cosmos, cloud sound, pure moon, banner of light of benevolent courage. These were the leaders, and there were as many of them as atoms in many Buddha lands. At the same time, as they appeared, these enlightening beings each produced clouds of various offerings. For example, clouds of flowers of all jewels, clouds of all subtle fragrances of lotus blossoms, clouds of orbs of jewel lights, clouds of fragrant flames of boundless realms, clouds of jewel light spheres from the treasury of the sun, clouds of all pleasing musical sounds, clouds of flames of light from all jewel lamps with boundless colors and forms, clouds of branches, flowers, and fruits from trees of many jewels, clouds of regal jewels with inexhaustible pure radiance, clouds of all the finest decorative gems. There were as many such clouds of various offerings as there are atoms in the Buddha world. Each of those enlightening beings produced such clouds of offerings unceasingly, raining on the oceanic assemblies at all enlightenment sites. Having manifested these clouds, they circled the Buddha to the right, circling him countless hundreds and thousands of times, in whatever direction they came from. There, not far from the Buddha, they magically produced innumerable lotus lion seats of various jewels, and each sat cross-legged thereon. The spheres of actions of these enlightening beings were pure and vast as the sea. They had attained the state of universality, of illumination, of knowledge and wisdom. Following the Buddhas, they were unhindered in their actions. They were able to enter the ocean of all principles of discernment and elucidation, and had mastered the teaching of inconceivable liberation. They dwelt in the state of all-sidedness of the Buddhas. They had already mastered all techniques of concentration formula and were able to contain the ocean of all the teachings. They dwelt in the stage of equanimous knowledge of past, present, and future. They had attained the immense joy of profound faith. Their boundless stores of blessings were most pure. They observed everywhere in space throughout the cosmos. They diligently made offerings to all Buddhas, appearing in any land, in all worlds. At that time, the enlightening being, Oceanic Wisdom, Sovereign King of Occult Powers, the great spiritual hero, empowered by the Buddha, surveyed the oceans of masses at the scene of enlightenment and said in verse, Buddha knows what all Buddhas have realized. Unhindered as space, he illumines all. His light pervading countless lands everywhere. He sits amidst the host, all magnificently pure. The Buddha's virtues cannot be measured. They fill all the cosmos in every direction, sitting under every enlightenment tree. All the great powers assemble like clouds. Buddha has such spiritual powers, manifesting infinite forms at once. The Buddha's sphere is beyond bounds. Individuals see according to their liberation. Buddha passed oceans of eons, working in all realms of being, teaching creatures by various means, having them accept and practice enlightening ways. Vairochana, replete with magnificent refinements, sits on the lotus bank lion seat. All the assembled hosts are pure. Silently all gaze in respect. The banks of jewels radiate light, emitting boundless clouds of fragrant flames. Countless flower garlands are draped around. On such a seat does the Buddha sit. Various adornments decorate its glorious facades, constantly emitting lamp-like clouds of fragrant flames, immensely vast, blazing, illumining all. The sage sits upon supreme embellishments. Beautiful windows of various jewels, draped with lotuses of exquisite gems, always producing sublime sounds, delighting all hearers. Thereon Buddha sits, most radiant of all. A jewel crescent supports the seat, shaped like a half-moon. Diamond is its pedestal, its color blazing bright. Enlightening beams constantly circle it. Buddha is most radiant among them. His various mystic displays fill the 10 directions, expounding the far-reaching vows of the Enlightened One. All reflected images appear therein. It is on such a seat the Buddha calmly sits. At that time, the great enlightening being, thunder shaking all, empowered by the Buddha, looked over all the assembled hosts and said, Buddha accumulated enlightenment practices, making offerings to infinite Buddhas everywhere, sustained by the power of the Enlightened One. None do not see him on his seat. Jewels of fragrant flames, fulfilling all wishes, encrust the Buddha's flower-lined throne. Various adornments, all appearing as reflections, are clearly seen by all the host. Buddha's throne displays magnificent forms. Instant to instant, their colors and types each differ. According to the differences in beings' understandings, each sees the Buddha thereupon. Jewel branches hanging down, webs of lotus flowers. As the flowers open, enlightening beings emerge, each producing sublime, pleasing voices, praising the Buddha on his throne. Buddha's virtues are extensive as space. All adornments are born from them. The embellishing features of each particular state, no sentient beings can comprehend. Diamond is the ground, indestructible, vast, pure, level, and even. Nets of pearls hang in the sky, all around the enlightenment tree. The infinite colors of the ground are all distinct. Gold dust is spread all around. flowers and jewels strewn about, all beautifying Buddha's throne. Earth spirits dance with joy, with infinite manifestations in an instant, creating clouds of adornments everywhere, while remaining reverently gazing at Buddha. Jewel lamps immensely large, shining extremely bright, fragrant flames and swirling light never ending. These manifestations differ according to the time. Earth spirits make offerings of these. All the adornments existing in every single land appear at this enlightenment scene by the mystic power of Buddha. Then the great enlightening being, jewel-like top-knot, empowered by the Buddha, surveyed the oceanic masses at the sight of enlightenment and said, when the Buddha was cultivating practice in the past, he saw the various Buddha lands all fully complete. The lands he saw this way were endless. All of them appear at this enlightenment scene. The Buddha's enormous spiritual power sheds like showering gems everywhere. This treasury of jewels is scattered over the site, beautifying the ground all around. Buddha's blessings and mystical powers adorn everywhere with precious gemstones. The ground and the enlightenment tree alternately emit light and sound, expressing the truth. Precious lamps, infinite, rain from the sky, studded with regal sapphires, all emitting subtle sounds speaking truth. This the earth spirits cause to appear. The jewel ground manifests ubiquitous clouds of light. Jewel lamps blaze bright as lightning. Jewel nets hung afar, cover above. Jewel boughs variously draped make decorations. Look over the entire ground, adorned with various beautiful jewels. It shows beings the ocean of actions, causing them to comprehend the real nature of things. The enlightenment trees in all the spheres of all the Buddhas everywhere all appear at the enlightenment site, expounding the Buddha's pure teaching. In accord with the inclinations of beings' minds, the ground produces wonderful sounds, conforming to what the Buddha would preach at his seat, each of the teachings fully explained. The ground constantly produces subtle, fragrant light. In the light are chanted pure, clear sounds. If any beings are able to receive the teaching, it causes them to hear, and their afflictions vanish. Each adornment is fully complete and could not be described in a million years. The Buddha's mystic power extends everywhere. That's why the ground is beautifully pure. Then the great enlightening being, bold intelligence of the Son of Knowledge, empowered by the Buddha, looked over all the multitudes assembled on the scene and said in verse, Buddha sits in the hall of truth with steady gaze, brilliantly lighting up the palace. In accordance with the dispositions of all beings, his body appears throughout all lands. The Buddha's palace is beyond conception, adorned with stores of precious jewels, each decoration shining with light. Sitting there, the Buddha is most conspicuous of all. With pillars of jewels of various hues, chimes of real gold hanging like clouds, jewel stairways in rows on four sides, the gates open in every direction. Arrays of banners of flowery silk, jeweled trees with decorated branches and boughs, garlands of pearls draped on all sides. The ocean of wisdom sits calmly therein. Nets of jewels, exquisite, fragrant banners, brilliant lamps hung like clouds, covered with various decorations. The world transcending true knower sits within. Everywhere he manifests clouds of mystic displays, those clouds teaching throughout the world, harmonizing and calming down all sentient beings. All disappears from the Buddha's palace. Trees of gems bloom with fine flowers, having no peer in all the world. The embellishments of the lands of all times reveal their reflections therein. Everywhere there are heaps of jewels, their light blazes in countless hues. Gates and doors open at intervals all around. The beams and ceiling are especially beautiful. The Buddha's palace is inconceivable. Its pure radiance contains every form. In it appear all palaces, a Buddha sitting in each. The Buddha's palace is boundless. The naturally awakened one abides therein. All the masses from all 10 directions come gather around the Buddha.